Karate Kid talk.
Let me just add to it, The Right Stuff. Got to check that out.
What do we got to check out?
The movie, The Right Stuff, 1983. They remade it on Disney, and I think it's kind of pathetic. So I went back and saw the original. It's like, oh, yes, I needed to watch that 3.5-hour movie again. It's good.
Really? All right, man. I will add that to the list. So guys, welcome to a conversation in place. We had a great time syncing up before we went live on stage, but welcome to the Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. Every Tuesday, I have one goal: put on the best sales meeting in the mortgage industry, period. And that's going to be easy to do today because we have some amazing leaders as my wingman and co-host. I have Todd Bookspan from Win by Noon. What's up, Todd?
You know what? Any day I get to be on here with this group of rock stars is a great day. And I think, there's no better time of year to be planning. And, I got to give a shout out. The first business plan I ever did in the mortgage space was with this man who's our main guest, Bill Hart. So, having him as a coach for so long and a mentor today has been huge.
Yeah, no, we couldn't do business planning and coaching and mentoring without having Coach Bill Hart. The idea for this call started, I don't know, a couple months ago. Dan Keller called me up and he said, "Hey, Savage, I know you do business planning in the month of December all the time, but I think I would love to kick it off with Jeremy and I doing a call on how we're approaching closing the year strong, planning for next year." And I did that call. I don't know, it's been a month now, I think. And then Tim Brahim and Josh Metal came in, shared some of their ideas on what they're doing and how they're doing it. I interviewed Shayla Gifford on what she's doing, and to kind of finalize the relay of business planning in the mortgage coach community, the anchor man, we have Bill Hart and one of his students, Keith Collins, who is a mortgage coach, red belt ninja. What's up, guys?
How you doing? I'm super excited for this, man. This is really cool because like I wouldn't be literally here without Bill, because he pushed me to use Mortgage Coach. And it's one of the best things I've done, and then introduced me to this community. But then I literally wouldn't be here without him coaching me for the last 5 years. And I've never been on a stage kind of like this with him. So this is really cool. It's a special moment for me. I'm excited for the opportunity.
Yeah, excited to have you, man. Thanks for making time, because I know you're a busy boy. Real quick, for anyone who, I think everybody knows you, but there's a lot of new loan officers still coming into the business. So for any new loan officers coming in, just tell us real quick about your production. And you not only run a team, but you also run a region. So just share where you're at real quick.
Yeah, it's an interesting year. I make a joke about this, and we'll dive into it a little bit more. But I think much like the Dodgers, every originator in 2020 has got an asterisk next to their name. So these numbers are kind of fake. But I run a region in Northern California. We'll probably end up anywhere from 750, 775 million. I run that, and then my personal team will end the year at about 85 million in personal production, which is more than we've ever done. But super blessed for the year. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, Keith, the way I know you're a servant leader, when we were talking and prepping earlier, you were just talking about how proud you were of members of your team and how they were doing. So it wasn't about how you're doing. A lot of people would come in, "I'm doing this, I'm doing that." You were like, "This guy did this and now he's doing this." So congrats on being an awesome servant leader. Everybody, before we bring Bill Hart on stage and have him really run today's call, I've been writing this LinkedIn article that will be in my LinkedIn article library, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. By the end of the week, I promise to get it done. But I wanted to hear this call, get takeaways from this call, and it will just be a summary, a compilation, a synopsis of all the planning calls that I've done for the past month or so. So keep an eye out. It'll be in LinkedIn within a couple days. And with that said, I'm going to put it on mute. I'm going to jump off the camera, but I'm going to bring Bill Hart, the OG mortgage coach, into the stage. So Bill, this is your call to run, my friend.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it so much. It's always such an honor. And, you guys, you just need to know that, years ago, I've been in 2 weeks, I will have been doing this for 18 years. So almost 17,000 hours in the coach's chair. I've had a lot of exposure to people just like you. And in the beginning, it was all skill and execution with people that were doing 5 units that wanted to go to 10. And, and now it's more senior executives and presidents of mortgage companies and some super mega producers. But I do less and less of that kind of initial blocking and tackling than I used to. But Keith, I do have to say, I looked back at our first session, which was March 2014, and you had done 24 million the year before, 24 million. So quite a journey, my friend, quite a journey with some pretty awesome goals and life goals wrapped into that. It's so much more. If there's any place I could start this conversation with you guys, it would be to say, if you ask me, what have I learned from you all, the Todd Bookspans and the Keith Collins and the Josh Meadows and the Nicole Ruths and the people that I've been able to be inside their lives, sometimes for a brief season and sometimes for years and years, is that this is really all about, ultimately, it's more than just the numbers. It's more than leads to apps and apps to fundings. Yes, that's all a part of it, but it's about building a life. And Keith is such a great example of that today, which makes it fun for me. So Keith, with me sort of teeing it up that way, you and I started, here's what I would love for people to know about you and I. Like, we wrestled a little bit in the beginning, right? Would you agree with that? Like, we wrestled a little.
I definitely, I mean, it was the first. I've been blessed to have some pretty awesome coaches in my career. I think, I've been doing this for almost 18 years or so, and I've only been about a year or so without some sort of a mentor or a coach. And your style is amazing, but was much different than I had before. So yes, definitely. I remember the first initial call, like I cut you off in a call and you cut me off and said, "Don't ever do that again."
That's
like,
not what I said.
Yes,
that is not what I said.
I mean, you didn't say it that way, but like, Keith,
Yeah.
if this is in Bill Hart's way, Keith, if this is going to work, we need to make sure that we, but like, yes, you cut me on. I was like, okay, this is real. I'm excited about this. So,
nice.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's been awesome.
Yeah, dude. So the life thing, I mean, I'd like to kind of start there. And I was going to joke earlier and say, hey, everybody's been talking about planning for 2021. Keith and I are actually going to skip right over 2021 and we're going to plan 2022. But I'm kidding about that. So the actual question that I have for you is the life component. Like, you're a guy that I remember us talking about a period of time where you were like, dude, I want 3-day weekends. I want a lot of 3-day weekends. And you're a guy that likes to hunt, which is a little hard to imagine with the camo hat on there. And they're not seeing your full winter beard. You got the trimmed up, like suburban version of that right now. But you can be out there with a cigar and hanging out and doing that stuff that feeds your soul. So I want you to speak to a little bit before we get into the tactics and the specifics and how you have successfully business planned. I would really love for people to hear about turning that whole thing upside down and saying, what kind of life do I want?
Yeah, and just, I mean, to be quite honest, after watching Tim Brahim and Josh, their riff for like an hour, I'm probably going to watch that 3 or 4 more times. And I think pretty much anybody that's thinking about vision or life planning, and they fly at 10,000 feet. And that's where I definitely need to be a lot better. Is I've got my goals that I'll write down, and I'll write down, my 2019, I had my 2020 goals, and I had my 2023 and my 2025. But I'm not really spending time writing paragraphs like when Josh took the time to say, he wrote out what specifically he's going to do on his 100-year birthday, right? Like I haven't gone that far,
yeah.
But I need to do a lot better with that. But what I've done is really thought about more on the things that I want to do, right?
Yeah.
And I want to do with my wife and my kids, and kind of the life that I wanted to design. And one of the things, and I don't know when I came up with this, was maybe it was 3 years ago, and I've changed it this year a little bit and exactly what it is. But I came up with a really clear thing that kind of guided me, because in the mortgage industry, we react. And 2020 has been a year of reaction all year. And I think that actually has made us worse this year. Like, we do all this production and we think that we're better. I actually think a lot of us are not better off this year. Maybe we are financially, but I mean, we got the COVID 2020 from weight. I mean, like, we're not better off than we were before. But one of the things that I came up with is a statement that helped me make decisions, because we have to make decisions quick sometimes, right? An agent calls you and says, "Hey, I want to do an open house on the weekend." Am I going to do that? I'm not going to do that, right? Does that line up with my business or not? And for me, it was, I want to take Fridays off and I want to make $1 million a year. And that was, for me, that was very clear and simple. Make $1 million a year, take Fridays off. And any decision that I made would move me closer to or further away from that statement. So an agent calls me up and says, hey, Keith, I want to do open houses on the weekend. That's going to really take me away from Fridays off, because Fridays off allows me to spend more time with my family. And that was what was driving the decision of Fridays off. And then $1 million a year, right? That helps me do whatever I want to do. That helps me create the legacy for my family. It helps me save. It helps me invest. It provides protection. It de-stresses everything. And in the industry, we have an opportunity to do some crazy stuff like that. So, like I said, I got to do a lot better. And I just actually went on and downloaded all Dan Keller's stuff from a vision planning standpoint. I need to do better there. But I think that one thing that I did has really helped me move forward with decisions. And that is, $1 million, take Fridays off.
I really want people to hear that, because when you do that, Keith, you create a lane that you're in. And to your point, when that realtor calls and says, hey, how about an open house this weekend, or whatever the thing might be, that's where your tires hit those little dividers, right? And start going thump, 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 thump. And you're like, yeah, this is not consistent with where I say I want to go. Most people in our business don't have that created. So they play what I call opportunity whack-a-mole, right? And it's where opportunities just pop up in front of you. It's like, well, yeah, I could do that. Well, sure, I could do that. I could do that. And before long, you're overwhelmed and you have no real sense of clarity. So I appreciate your transparency that you could do a better job on that, and know that I will hold you to that. But the truth of the matter is, this hasn't been that year, right? We've all been running in front of a tsunami, and it's been a successful outcome, but this hasn't been the big planning year. This has probably been the year of capacity and proving to ourselves what we can do. And so you and I both know a lot of people are going to do less volume. If the MBA is correct and refis are down, 40% and purchases maybe up 6 or 8%, I think are the numbers. Dave, you can correct me on that if I'm incorrect. But if that's it, right, then we know that it's going to be a slightly different game. Not January 4th, but January, February, March, right? As we start like uncorking the year, it's going to be a bit different. So there are different things that you need to be focused on. And what I would love for people to hear from a guy like you doing your volume is, Keith, where are you focused? As you start looking at January, I know you're very focused on the 12-week year, and that might be helpful for people to understand, because that's a book that's been big inside the movement organization. You've turned me on to it. I totally buy into it. It makes a lot of sense to me. Can you speak to people about what most of us would call Q1? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, definitely. So, I've got my big, and I want to, I've got my big annual goals, right? So I have my 2021 goals written for wealth, for business, for spiritual, for family, for personal, different activities, things I want to achieve. I've got that done for 2020. I've got that done for 2023 and 2025. So I don't want to discount that we're not doing that, but I do think, and this is what's really cool about that book, The 12-Week Year, it makes a really big kind of statement. And its statement is that we need to discard annualized thinking, because annualized thinking gives us kind of this unspoken belief that we've got more time to make up for it, right? So here's where it is. So I say I want to make $80 million in volume in 2021. That's my goal. I want to do 80. I'll probably do more this year, but if I can do similar to what I did last year, this year, better. Right? Better. And that's one of the big, do it better and just be awesome. That's what that's our mantra for our team this year. Do it better and be awesome. But if I say, hey, and I'm just focused on 80 million for the year, if I don't have a good January or February, like in my mind, I can make that up in June and July. Like, okay, totally. Cool. Like, I needed to do 5-6 million in January, but I only did 2. Well, then I can go do 12 million potentially in June when I really only need to do 10. And for me, that's the problem, I think, with annual thinking. Is that it allows you to make excuses for performance in the moment. Whereas if we just focus on the quarter, and if I say, hey, I need to do 18 million in Q1 and I botch January, like I'm hosed. So I have to do 5 million at least in January to be able to hit the $18 million goal. And so it's just a small shift. It's a really good book. Quite frankly, the first half of the book, I think, is better than the last, because the last really just kind of dives into business planning. Objectives, of which everybody else has probably talked about, but it's more so the thought to not allow yourself to have the extra time to make excuses, and I really resonate with that. So for me, It's quarterly thinking. What do we got to do this quarter? So, you have the business plan, the one-page business plan with Building Champions, which I love. And I basically took mine and just converted it to a quarter. What do I need to do this quarter from a goal standpoint, action items, and then the projects?
Yeah, so you've really helped me to crystallize my thinking on that. And I'm going to be totally honest, because somebody out there can relate to this. So when I heard of that book, I was like, yeah, whatever, that's it. I think I've heard it all. Like, I don't think I need to read that book. But the more that I got to hear it, I realized that, okay, there's a lot of things that I'm familiar with, that I've taught, that I've learned, that I've used. But that annualized thinking, getting your head out of that mode, I think the authors say with most sales organizations, 40% of the volume is done in the final quarter of the year, and it's because of procrastination, right? So I am here to tell you guys, I'm a procrastinator. And this is where you now say, hi, Bill, right? It's like a 12-step program for, yeah. Thank you for that. But at the end of the day, hang on, let's come back to Kathleen's question here. Yeah, so the name of the book is The 12-Week Year, Kathleen, and I don't know the author's name, but it is really, really good. Really good. So I forget where I was heading with that, but procrastination. So the way to get past that is to have every single day. The author says, a week is a month, right? That's the way that you view it. Like, this is not a week where I just kind of grab a butt cheek in each hand and hold on for all the chaos that's coming at me. And if I don't get it done, I do it next week. It's like, this week, things have to advance. So Keith, here's what I've learned as a coach. One of the things that I've learned as a coach is most people know their pull-through ratio, right? They know apps to fundings, but most people don't know leads to apps, right? Dave, you just did an interview with Hunter Marquardt, and he talked about that, and that's a core thing, right? That's exactly where they would be, is they would be very focused on that. So, right, Dave, did you not have that conversation with Hunter just a week or so ago?
I did, and that reminds me, that was another great interview that I might want to add to the article, because he's such a great leader, and he is so focused on all of his key metrics. So no, really good point. And guys, I'm going to put a link to that book in Facebook comments, so stay tuned and keep asking questions. And if you have big takeaways, put those in comments also.
Yep. So here's the truth, you guys, that I've learned in coaching. And the truth is, if I can get a client to start thinking one step prior to pull through, which is lead to funding, or lead to app, then think about it this way. If you do the numbers and you say, I need whatever, 2 leads a day or 3 leads a day, if it's Wednesday and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you have no leads, to Keith's point, here's what happens in your head. Your head says, I have one job right now. Like, I have to generate leads. I have to pick up the phone. I need to start talking to my borrowers. I need to follow up with TBDs. I can't be working with that fun new phone that I'm trying to get to sync with my laptop. And that's all cool, but that's going to wait, because right now I have the sense of urgency. So Keith, isn't that the psychological dynamic that you're referring to?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that is absolutely the idea. The idea is that the more time I give myself to achieve the objective as a procrastinator, which I am too, and super ADD, I'm like the most ADD person you'll ever meet. So I have to intentionally change the way I do things, like time block, to be able to be effective. But that is the idea. The more time that you give yourself to achieve the objective, the more time you have to stall, right? So if you can get it done in a week, get it done in a week. And that's where, and then also I think sometimes we take on too much stuff, and that's where, when we get into these business planning things, we need to be cognizant of the goal that we're setting. Like, is it too big or too small? But then also how much actual stuff that we're doing. And what I really love for me from a quarterly standpoint is I only grab a couple of things that I'm focused on for that quarter, and then I nail those things down. And if something else comes along, it's like, no, that's a Q2 thing, right? That's Q2, right. That's Q3. Like, I might make a mid-quarter, right, course correction that we need to do because something came along that, oh, wow, this is awesome. I need to jump on it. But when you focus only on a few things and then do those few things awesome, that's when we make big leaps. You got to master the new technology. Don't just be good at something, like be awesome at something. And the only way to do that is to master it. And I think, go for it.
Well, that's just who you are. I was going to say, do you remember? Because I was looking back through old action plans, and there was a time where you started to do video, and then you got busy, and then you couldn't do video because you didn't have any time. And I kept hammering you like, dude, you got to get back on board. And you were doing. Do you remember we had our own term for it, but I think it was called like realtor referred videos, or in other words, you would record a video like on a 203K or whatever the thing was, but when you got realtors to share the video, you were celebrating like, oh, that's the money play. If I get a realtor to push my video out, right, that to me was like I bragged about you. I still brag about you to this day, for that reason. If you can record a video that realtors begin to share, that's the money play. But two things I want people to hear from you. One, you struggled with, I'm too busy now and I haven't done video. I haven't recorded the video in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever it might have been. So what did you do? And then today I'd like them to hear that, like, that rockin' hot setup that you've got right now. Like, you guys, as you're watching this right now, look at Keith. That handsome face of his is in perfect focus. His hat's in perfect focus, but see how the background is just kind of softly out of focus? It's because he's got a DSLR, he's got a high-end camera, he's got a Rode microphone, like he has got a legit hookup. So instead of just somebody saying, oh yeah, I do video, here we go. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, holding your phone up, but Keith, you're committed to it. So can you tell people, because somebody's going to be planning this, I guarantee you, because for 2021, the one thing I can tell you for sure, if you're in the mortgage business or you're not doing video, you're retiring. You just don't realize it. Like, you're not going to be in the business. And if you're not capitalizing on social and the relationships that are available through social media, you're just not relevant. So it's a new day, right? As a result of that. So video, can you just speak to people? Because you're going to help somebody right now who's going to be planning this, and they're going to go through the same cycle you did. So help them.
Absolutely, man. That's actually a perfect tee up to a few things I wanted to chat about. So I'm going to do a shameless plug here, but I think it's really, really relevant and awesome. But that is, if you're going to be in, like, be all in. And I know that's your show and everything you're doing, but it's so true.
Kind of is.
Yeah. Yes, sir. But like when I am all in and I'm passionate and excited and fired up, people come alongside me and want to be in that with me.
Yes.
And so when you want to do something like that, like you've got to be committed and you got to dive into it. They got to be all in. And then that's when you really have success from it. But for me, going back to kind of the ADD thing, I had to time block it. And so I have it built into my schedule. It's blocked out. And then I had to build some things around it to be able to get the ideas, right? So we're always getting ideas that come across the desk, right? I'll have a client that'll ask me a great question, or one of my loan officers ask me a question. It's like, that was a really good question. And I answer the question and adjust it and go from there. But then I have a folder in my inbox, which is video ideas. And I just send myself an email on that question. And then when I have my time blocks, my time block comes up at 8 a.m. on Tuesday, which I'm supposed to be recording videos, I just go to that folder and I already have ideas for me to kind of dive in and jump in.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you there. Don't lose your train of thought, but I really want people to hear that, because you move quick and I want people to anchor it. Like what Keith is saying is, I talk to a borrower, I'm in a conversation, it triggers a thought for a video. I'm not going to do the video now, but I have a system for it. I put it in there. For me, I just write it on the page of my planner. That's the way that I do it. And then when I get to my video recording time, which is time blocked, I don't have to think of something to do. I already have a list of the videos. That's what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
Well
it's built in, it's ready to rock. Because that's the thing, we run fast. And so I don't have time to sit and think about what I want to do a video about. I need to have those ideas ready.
Totally.
To go. It's super helpful, and the equipment's there. In terms of the videos themselves, because you asked a couple of questions there, but the money, realtors know that we need to do videos, and I get business on Facebook and Instagram from the videos that I do, 100% do. And then, I use those in multiple ways. I think a lot of times, we think of a video as something that is, we create and post on social media and maybe we get a lead from it, but it's a communication tool. It's a way that we communicate with people and people get to know you. And so our agents know that, like in my market, agents know that I'm kind of the video guy. And so I have the ability to speak to that and speak into their business very easily, because they see me as the guy that's doing video.
Nice.
And it's just a really easy way for me to get in with new realtors and build kind of that brand and that presence. But when I'm sharing information that realtors know that their clients need, they then share that information to those clients on my behalf.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. I've had agents ask me
So
if
good.
they could do a paid ad with one of my videos. So like I think that's where
It's as good as it gets, man.
if you really think about it, that's the beauty
Yep.
of it. And so from an investment standpoint, and this is kind of where it jumps into the business planning side of it, you teed me up really well, I think, is, you said I've really invested in this. And so there's a beautiful thing that 2020 has given all of us in the mortgage industry, and that is margin, financial margin. We have a lot of it. Some of us maybe more than others, but we do. And so we have an opportunity to do some really cool and amazing things with that margin. And one of those things is invest in your business.
Yep.
Because what did happen in 2020 is things like sales mastery and all those events that we would go to and get fired up and then find ideas and go invest in our business were pulled away from us. Yes, they did them digitally and they're there. But I personally have done less education and investment in my business from a learning standpoint than I've ever done in previous years, yet I still had one of the most amazing years of my life. That's because we were reacting. So what we have right now is we have margin to be able to invest. And so I dropped like $6,000 on video equipment to just go to the next level so that I can be on a call like this and Bill can say, look at Keith, right? That's what we need to do. And so,
Totally.
Everybody's had an amazing year. It's interest rate based, but people that had a really good year already had the foundation in place, right? And I think a lot of us they have the foundation, we've got the walls, we've got the roof on. We don't need to re-rack that whole thing. We don't need to move to another home. We just need to do a kitchen remodel.
Right.
And I think, and that's where for me, what I'm really focused on in 2021 with my business planning are what are the things that I can do specifically in my business to be better? Because quite frankly, like we were good, but we weren't awesome. Right. We've learned a lot. My team can do more than we've ever been able to do before. But that's where I've like spent time here is like pipeline review, mortgage coach, right? By BombBomb. And I can go through this. I don't know how much you want to get into that, but like, those are the things I'm focused on, small individual things.
So good.
I can go master and implement my business so that regardless of what interest rates do, I don't have a lower year in 2021 than I did in 2020. And that's what that margin gives us.
So Dave, I know you've showed up,
Yeah.
so I think you might want to call out some comments, or maybe you've just got an observation.
Well, I have an observation, but I always want to pull in the community, guys. I always want to pull in engagement. I want to make this more valuable for you. And we want to make this more valuable for everybody. So I think Keith made a really good point, and everybody would agree that we have more margin. And he is sharing how he is investing in himself. I've heard multiple top producers that they're not saying, hey, for 2021, I want to close more business. It's like, I want to close the same, but I want to make what I did this year sustainable. And that is going to require an investment. It might be investing in a teammate that's going to manage your past customer database. I always feel like year after year after year, we talk about the importance of annual reviews, the importance of making your database the number one priority, but not everybody invests in doing that. They don't necessarily have a teammate that's a client concierge. And if you've got 1,000 or more past customers, you probably should have a client concierge. So my question is, by the way, that's one idea. What are you doing to invest in yourself and in your mortgage practice? Keith said, hey, I put $6,000 into video equipment so I could create better content. What are you doing? So if you're in this community and you're making a specific investment so that 2021 can be sustainable, and we want to know what you're investing. Just give us a bullet point down below. Give us a few things that you're doing, and we'll cover that in future calls. But please, community, if you're listening to the recording and it's on YouTube, put what you're doing down below and what investments you're making in 2021. Back to you, Bill.
I just want to throw out a few suggestions. So Win by Noon is one that if you have not yet ordered, I don't know what the timing is like right now, Todd, but are they still good if they're ordering right now to start with a Q1 planner?
Absolutely. Shipping every day, 2-day USPS. So you would have it in time for the year, and plenty of kickoff webinars. In fact, the next one's tomorrow afternoon.
Perfect.
So jump on. So
you guys, this is for you. This is specifically for the mortgage industry. There are other versions, but it started in the mortgage space, and it started when Todd was a coach with Building Champions at a Masters Coach event. So he got this from the essence of his own experience, then being surrounded by other top producers, and created something that's all you need. So like that would be a good place to begin. The next thing I would ask you to consider is the modern Modern Mortgage Summit. Is that what you guys called it? And you've got the 365 solution now.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get access to all that content for a full year.
I think that would be a really strong move, you guys. And here's why. I just had a conversation with a client this morning, and I was telling him that I was listening to that Hunter Marquardt interview that Dave did. And I said, you know, it used to be that once I was done prepping for sessions in the morning, I would turn on the news and I just wouldn't think about it. It was just a voice in the background, just noise, and I'd pick up some ideas or whatever. I'd know about traffic or weather and things that didn't really matter since I'm working out of the house, right? Like, what the heck? But now I'm listening to Masterclass and I'm going to Mortgage Coach on YouTube, and I'm being stretched and I'm growing every single day. And so I'm going to say the same thing to you guys, is that when Todd's got something coming up for Win by Noon, when there's something like this that you're able to get, you're going to tell me that you're too busy. And Keith would have said the same thing at some point, like, I'm too busy, I don't have time for that. You absolutely have time for that. You just have to change the way that you structure your day, right? So there are investments that you can make this year. And here's one shameless plug for me that I will share. So Dave introduced me to Joe Wilson a while ago, who is a brilliant guy who has created this. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Great. He's created this solution called Social Coach. And so the idea is it allows you to log in and join me every single day. And I'm going to be giving you ideas, thoughts, specific posts around what you can be doing on social. This is not some generic thing. This is a way to make you relevant, interesting, connected with your referral partners, your borrowers, your database. We charge $250 a month for it. Go check it out when you get a chance. It's app.socialcoach.io/Bill Hart. We can put that in the notes down below, Dave. If you don't have it, I can give it to you later. But you know, to Keith's point, this has been a year. I'm trying to get my cursor back to stop share. There we go. This has been a year where it is time to invest in your business. It is time. Go ahead, bud. Sorry.
Hey, let me just give a quick plug on that, right? I mean, Bill, 18 years ago when you started coaching and I was one of your coaching clients, you know, you were pushing me on video back then, and you just said it a few minutes ago, you're not relevant if you're not on social and you're not using video. And for $250 a month, what a killer opportunity to hear from Bill, who's in with week in and week out with more leaders and thought providers of our industry to give them to you to post for your people. I mean, that's just super, like, I'm in. I'm all in.
Hey,
Thanks,
we gotta pile on that, by the way, guys. So how many people that are listening to this, you follow Bill Hart on social media, and you feel like you know who he is as a human being, you feel like you know who he is as a leader, as a coach, as a husband, you feel like you know this guy. And I want you to think, like, how many people do you know on social media as well as you know Bill? And then here's the other thing. How many people that are watching this right now and listening to this right now, and you've gotten some value from that? Like, he's reminded you to do something that you know you should be doing that you're not doing. I get so much value from Bill every year. So Bill, thank you for all the value you bring to this mortgage coach community. And guys, as a thank you to Bill, check it out. Like, click on the link. We'll put the link down below. That's how you say thank you. Now, in terms of signing up for it, I'll leave it to you. Like, you're going to be thoughtful about how you invest. But if, we believe, and Todd and I are passionate about modernizing the mortgage industry. We've both got platforms that help modernize the mortgage industry. And we have this training platform that helps train you. But if social media, being an expert, being liked, being trusted, generating leads has value, seriously consider investing in that. So we'll put a link down below. Bill just put it in there. It's app.socialcoach.io. So Bill, we do need to get a custom link on that.
Agreed.
So when we're talking, we're like social coach Bill Hart,
For sure.
.com. So stay tuned. Bill will get you an easier link soon, but check it out, guys. At least click on it to say thank you and invest in it if that's a focus you want to make, and you want to make Bill your social media consultant month after month after month. So check it out. Thank you, Bill. Really appreciate that, brother.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you for the referral to Joe, who put all of this together. It's a brilliant solution because it takes the guesswork out of it for you. And I coach you through specific ideas and posts and things that you can do, because I think a lot of people just get locked up on social. They don't know what to do. And by the way, go follow Keith. Go follow Keith on Instagram and on Facebook in particular, and watch what Keith does, because you'll see that he rides that brilliant balance that I try to do between personal, like I care about this person, and to Dave's point, I know this person, and the professional. And people always ask, well, what about a professional page versus a personal page? And you guys, here's my philosophy on that. It's just like everywhere. You need to be everywhere. There are different platforms that have different ideals, right? Like Instagram stories, and even IGTV is going to be slightly different than it would be on LinkedIn. But the point is, like, just don't overthink it. Jump in, start being visible, start being relevant, because until things open up again, and there was a good article in the Journal today saying that the Fed's a little bit encouraged about vaccines are coming out, and if we can see most people, vaccinated by Memorial Day, they said, maybe we're going to have a summer where we're going to start seeing more travel and so forth. So I think there's good news on the horizon in 2021. We don't know about the economy in general and what's going to be happening in the mortgage industry, but housing looks strong. And if the Fed is encouraged right now about what's happening because of the vaccines rolling out, I think we're in a good position, right? But we are not out live calling on people as we used to. Dave, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I've got two thoughts. So one, you gave me an idea. I'm going to come up, I think it's going to be a list of 12 of the best mortgage coach leaders on social media. I know Denise Donahue's going to be on that list. I know
For
Kelly
sure.
is going to be on that list. I know Dan Keller is going to be on that list. And guys, I know Keith Collins is going to be on that list.
Absolutely.
So I know that just because I follow a lot of people. Who else should be on that list? Like, who else? If you're watching this on Facebook, let me know. Dave, put such and such on the mortgage coach social media influencer list. I want to have a list of 12 mortgage coaches that are killing it on social media. And I just told you who 4 of them are going to be on the list. Who are the other 8 that I should put on that list? Put a comment down below. One more thing before I let you guys get back to business planning. Guys, 2020 will go down in the record books by historians is the year that killed cash. Think about that. Like, prior to 2020, I couldn't get my wife to use Apple Pay. I was like, honey, why don't you use an Apple Pay? It's awesome.
It's so true.
And now, like, I almost bought something and I wasn't using Apple Pay. I was using my credit card that you could just touch it. She's like, why don't you use an Apple Pay?
Exactly.
Guys, everybody has bought something on Amazon now. The majority of the people in society that are playing the economy game, they use Apple Pay, or they use the equivalent on Google. They are buying things on Amazon. Guys, the world has changed forever. This is the year that killed cash. This is the year that accelerated the digital disruption that's taking place in the mortgage space. In the coming couple years, you will see, the mortgage industry will be unrecognizable by 2025. Fact, it's happening. And so, this is like, you're running a race, and there will be winners and there will be losers. And so, really important year for you guys to get your digital game on, build your digital brand, invest in things like Social Coach, invest in platforms that we're sharing. But guys, it's a pivotal year that will be looked back 100 years from now and go, that's the year that killed cash.
Totally.
And that's the year that changed the world. So get on it.
Keith, what'd you have there?
Yeah, I got a couple of things that I just want to add to that, because I think I want to speak to 2 things really. And one would be just getting on social media for somebody who is new to it. It's very scary, and social media can suck you in, like suck you dry. And so one of the things that I've always done is I block it when I'm going to be on it and actually working with it. And it's 10 likes, 10 comments, and 10 direct messages, and get out. Right.
Nice.
So the idea is that you're just going to jump on there. You're going to engage, follow some of the realtors that you want to do business with. And honestly, most of the new business that I get from new realtors is directly from social media, because I'm just commenting and engaging with them and connecting with them when no one else is. Like, I got some big realtors in the area, and I know the loan officer they're working with, And like that loan officer is not engaging with them. And so I'm just engaging with them. We're having fun. We're having private conversations. And then all of a sudden they like call me for a transaction. And it's really awesome how that works. Facebook friends lists. I'm not going to dive in this too much, but that's definitely
This is one of my all-time favorite Keith Collins things.
It's
So
the best hack. It's the best hack ever. Facebook friends lists. Dave, we could do a call on it. It's amazing.
You should do a call on it, Dave.
In terms of engaging. And then when someone friends you, this is what I've been doing recently, and it's been amazing. So someone sends you a friend request, let's say on Facebook, send them a direct video message back. Hey, it's Keith Collins. I just noticed you send me a friend request. I just wanted to reach out, put a face and name, and I just wanted to wonder, what did you want to connect about and how did you find me? You're going to stand out. You're going to engage immediately. And I think it's just a new way of connecting. So a couple really cool tips and tricks, I think, there. And then just some maybe some hope and optimism in terms of what Dave just said is, Dave, I think, and I don't know exactly which one it was. I think it was the one with Jeremy and Dan, which was amazing, the business planning one, but you were showing the numbers of originators and how much volume they'd done. And it's bananas. How many home loans, like I think it was over 3,500 loan officers have closed over 300 families in a year, something like that. But I just lost the feed. Oh, you're pulling it up. Awesome. What I pulled from this was that the top tier loan officers are grabbing significantly more volume than the lower tier.
Totally.
And that looks like a trend. And so for some of those lower tier loan officers, this is my encouragement. I found this article Chuck Cowan actually posted, and I don't know if I have the last name right, CWAN. Inman, the media technology company, and this is what's given me a ton of encouragement for 2021, but also making me a little scared because I am in that category. 72% of realtors indicated that they are reevaluating their current lending relationship for 2021.
Hey, stop. Pause.
Yeah,
Dude,
I was
that's
saying
a massive number. Why do you think that is, Keith? Why is that true?
Because we have not been awesome. So the top tier loan officers have done more volume than they've ever done before. Capacity has been stretched. Turn times have been stretched. Their service level that has been stretched. So years past, those top tier loan officers are in tight with their realtors, right? They're having conversations with the realtor on a regular basis. They're building that relationship. They're doing an amazing job for their customers. Then 2020 hits. We don't have enough team members to handle the volume. We've got refinances just running at us, and they're chasing that volume. I've had conversations with loan officers, top tier loan officers that are saying, I'm just going to chase a refinance business, and I know I can get the purchase business back when interest rates go higher. Like that's crazy to me. But where I'm optimistic on that is, for me in 2021, that's where I'm leaning in, right? 40 agents that can send me 5 transactions a year are my targets. And I'm calling 20 agents every single week to see how I can add value to their business. And I think that there is a significant opportunity for originators to go take business from some of those top tier people because they have not been awesome specifically with their realtor partners in 2020.
Totally.
So much opportunity in 2021 to go get purchase
Hey,
business.
Keith, I want to get that note written down. I'm sure someone else didn't hear it. So you're focusing on 40 agents that will send you how much?
40 agents that can send me 5 transactions a year. That's my number. 40 agents to send me 5.
And you're calling 20 of them weekly?
20 of them weekly. So every Friday, so we created a power hour in the market in the region that I run. So every Friday at 9:55, we're jumping on a Zoom call. It's an in and out, and the idea on the Zoom call is let's share an idea. Give me an idea that we can go share with a realtor today. And then we're going and either calling or sending video text messages, which are amazing, by the way. Personalized video text messages are great. Out to 20 realtors. I can get that done in an hour. And for me, I don't get to leave to go home on Friday until I've done those 20. So that's kind of my accountability and then my pain associated with it, because I like to get out of here by noon. If I don't do those 20 calls, I don't get to leave until they're done.
So guys, write that down. He's going to target 40 agents in 2021 that he's going to get 5 transactions from. He's calling 20 a month.
20 a week.
A week, and he's winning by noon. Guys, that's a formula. So what's your formula? Put it in comments. I love that. Call it realtor focus formula with a little win by noon action. Love that. And kudos to Coach Bill for helping you fine tune that. And I'm sure Coach Bill is going to be drilling you weekly. You know, Coach, how do you manage that? Like when someone says, I've got this goal, and it's such a cornerstone focus. And if he does
Yeah.
this, it's like 2021 is in the bag.
Yeah.
What are your accountability rhythms, and how do you make sure that he does that?
So it really depends on the client. And honestly, sometimes, I mean, I nearly put a post up yesterday, but I thought people would misunderstand it. I don't think my job is to provide accountability. I think that's an internal decision. I think we hold ourselves accountable. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. I can create a framework. And so sometimes what it becomes, like in the 12-week year, they talk about the idea of putting some money on it, right? There's nothing new with that. But if you have an accountability partner, doesn't need to be me, right? But just somebody that says, hey, if I don't do this, I'm going to donate $100 to my favorite charity. Or one of the most effective tools is the anti-charity. So you think of a cause that you would never give money to, and if you don't do the thing, you have to send a lot of money to that person or that entity, right? So, but yeah, Dave, I think my job as a coach is to create an environment where the client is so connected to their goals, and we create a visible reminder. Like Keith, I don't know if you can move your camera, and you probably can't, but there's a window in Keith's office that is a result of a coaching session we had a couple of years ago, where I told him about a dentist that was writing on his window in it with a Sharpie, and Keith was like, oh, I can do that. So in a coaching session now, I'll hear every once in a while, I'll hear this and it's him writing on his window, and now he's got Post-its stacked up over there. So to me, it's just keeping it visible, front of mind. Like if you know this is where I'm headed, that's the name of the game. But it's with some people, Dave, to answer your question directly, I'll text them or have them text me every day. I'll put a reminder in my calendar, hey, look for Keith's update. So sometimes it's like intensive care accountability, and sometimes it's like, dude, you own it. So
No, I
depends on the client.
love that. Guys, there was so much value in that nugget. I think I'm going to create a micro content around that little piece. Also, as Mr. Mortgage Coach, I mean, one of the reasons why I do these calls is I believe that if you're not giving every family a total cost analysis, you don't have the most referable business you could possibly have.
Absolutely.
And I just had a conversation with Dave Gallegos that's hiring brand new loan officers into the business. And their goal in their first full month in the business is 20 TCAs. And so I don't know what yours is. I would just tell you guys, if you have a good realtor goal like Keith has, and then you have a good, perfect consumer, perfect loan process, and you're giving a total cost analysis, it's like, I know there's more to it than that, but it's kind of it. Like great, amazing borrower experience, amazing realtor goal like that, you're going to do pretty good. So
Huge.
anyways, I'm going to let you
Huge.
take it back over, but that was just pure gold just now.
Well, and to just follow up on what you said, I mean, I think so often it occurs to me that this goes without saying that Mortgage Coach is just, if you're serious about the business, like of course you're using Mortgage Coach. But I also know there are people that just, they've been reluctant because they haven't pulled the trigger yet. They didn't have the time, and you guys, now's the time. Like you just need to pull the trigger on it. And Keith would tell you that I was telling him to use Mortgage Coach. And when I told you that we wrestled in the beginning, this is one of the things we wrestled on. He's like, dude, complicated. It's convoluted. I don't have time for this. Like I'm too busy, chopping down wood to sharpen my axe. So, right. I mean, at some point, Keith, I don't know what it was. What do you think it was that finally took you over the edge and you said, I'm in?
I signed up for Mortgage Coach 3 times before I dove in, and I don't know what I've done now. I've probably been on it for 2 years now, and you could probably see that, Dave. I've probably done 1,500, 2,000 TCAs. Every single customer now gets a TCA. Every single customer. Most of my originators in my market, every single customer gets a TCA. Our personal, we call them subsidies, but my PEs are less than 18 basis points. And I think that's a direct result of the actual TCA. So from a management tool, it's amazing. From an individual loan officer tool, it's amazing. Like whenever I see, a loan estimate from a loan officer that I'm competing against, I'm like, oh, I got this because I got a TCA and
Totally.
his presentation sucks. So here's the thing, right? Like we need to replace one B with another B, and that first B is busy, right? Busy is bad. Answer busy, right? Like you're too busy is an excuse. Answer busy. You need to replace busy with build, and you need to build it. Right. And I hope I'm not coming off on a soapbox like that at all. But I mean, I got one of my guys, Mark Fulton. In 2019, he closed 54 million in volume. This year, he'll probably do 95 million in volume. And he implemented Mortgage Coach right in the middle of this chaos in 2020. And he came to me like 2-3 weeks ago and he was like, Keith, why didn't you tell me to start this sooner? I'm like, brother, I've been telling you to jump into this thing for a year and a half. But he's a busy guy that doubled his business a year, figured out a way to implement Mortgage Coach, and he's seen the benefits from it. And his PEs went from like 50 basis points on an average down to under 20. And he hasn't changed anything. He's a great originator. I don't want to take anything away from him, but I really believe that's a direct result of using the total cost analysis. So,
good.
And this is one other thing I love to add, that when we build, so I think a lot of times I'm talking with originators, I'm like, you need to hire another assistant for your volume. And the concern that they have is that they're going to then give less than themselves to another party, right?
Yeah.
It's less. So if I hire another assistant, that assistant's going to take over a portion of the process, and the agent's going to have less than, right? They're not going to have as much of me. And I would argue to say that they'll have more than, because there are things in the loan process that we do not like to do. But when we don't have a team, we have to do those. But when we have a team, they come in and handle it, and then you get to be at your best. And then the people that you're working with actually get more from you because you're operating in that zone that makes you special.
Good.
And so that's where, like, again, I don't know what it is that you need to add, whether it's HomeBot, which is an amazing tool, Mortgage Coach, Power Hours, better pipeline review, but we need to replace that excuse that we're too busy with the word build and really dive in with what we can do in 2021.
Keith, that is so solid, dude. That is solid gold. And I hope you guys wrote that down. I see that it's been captured by Todd Bookspan in the notes here. So thank you for that, Todd. But here's the encouragement I would give to you. And this is gruff, grumpy old coach coming at you, right? The same guy that talked about getting off my lawn. And I'm not kidding you guys. Like when we talk about targeting realtors, I want you to consider this. Somebody is targeting your realtors. You think you have an impenetrable relationship, and you may not. So you've got to double your efforts. Deborah Bird made a great post on the Mortgage Coach site this morning. So go check that out. It was a great Shark Tank presentation, and she's kind of trying to shake it up. Like, we got to be different. You got to have fun, and you got to do some things that are a bit different. So number one, realtors know that you weren't there for them last year. That's why 70 some odd % of them are rethinking that relationship. So you got to figure out a way to take it over the top, right? This is like the person that had an affair and nearly lost their spouse. And if they want to save their marriage, like, they got to come over the top. So look at it that way. Number two, I just interviewed, who did I interview last week? Help me out. Who was
David Jaffe?
David Jaffe.
That was so good, Bill. Like, oh my gosh, it was good.
You were so there for me. Thank you for that. So here's the message I want you to hear from Jaffe. Jaffe, from day one, he was at a sales mastery event and he heard Todd Duncan talking about database. And in the very beginning, he realized, I need to start adding everybody into my database. So now 25 years later, he's got 17,000 people in his database, which is half the population of Moorpark, California, where I live. He actively markets to 2,500, spends $2,500 a month roughly on the marketing, which is old school snail mail. But here's the killer element that you need to hear. He'll do 300 million and 625 units this year. What? How does that happen? It happens because he's built a database that, honestly, you guys, it's realtor proof and it's interest rate proof. He has great realtors, and when rates go down, he rakes it in like everybody else, right? But here's his point. He said, when I have that many people in my database, life creates business for me. I'm buying brain cells because I mail to them every single month. They know who I am when it comes to mortgage and real estate. And when they move up, move down, people die, people give birth, people get married, people get divorced, right? People go to school, life changes create business, you guys. Build a business based on realtors that you have solid relationships with and a database that nobody can ever take away from you. And you've built a business that is enviable in all the world's businesses. There's no franchise you can buy that is better than what Jaffe has built because of that simple discipline. So Keith.
Mic drop. Keith. I got nothing on that.
I want to hand it back to Dave. I want to hand it back to Dave, but I want to introduce everybody to some free tools that can help you. Because I know right now, if you don't have this stuff handy and you don't have it in front of you, you don't really know where to go. So do you see the Building Champions website there, you guys?
Yes, we
Give me
do.
an audible because yeah, okay. So if you just log into buildingchampions.com and you go to resources and tools, there's a building better habits guide. There's a business vision tool, which is what Keith and I talked about in the beginning. The daily shutdown tool, you guys. Digital sunset. Cal Newport talks about a digital sunset. You suck at that. If you've been in the mortgage industry in 2020, you're not good at that. And you need to get better at it. Your family deserves more. A guide to coaching leadership for those of you that are leaders. A life plan review guide if you've already done one. Life plan guide if you haven't. You are your morning routine. And then the simple business plan that Keith talked about. All of those tools are available to you on the Building Champions website. They're free. Go grab them. The tool just helps to align your thinking and your effort. And these are the tools that Todd has used in the past and that Keith has used in the past, and they'll help you and they're free, and we just want to make them available to you. So Dave, I know this is about the time I need to throw it back to you. Where do we go from here, my friend? This is your show.
Well,
Take us home.
we'll do this. This has been such an awesome call. Answer busy, replace them with build. I don't think I'll ever forget that. Thank you, Keith Collins. Keith, I love, how you're targeting 40 agents, 5 transactions annually, 20 calls a week, do it by noon, win by noon. Modern mortgage professionals track. They have goals like this. They document them. They track their activity. They know their conversion rate. All these great things came out in today's call. I want to remind you guys, by the way, you are at war with online lenders and companies that they're measuring more than just their conversion rate. They're measuring their call to credit report, their credit report to application, their application to submission, their submission to approval, and their pull-through rate. I mean, they're measuring all these little increments, and they're using artificial intelligence, they're using big data, and they're just looking for 1% here, 2% here, 1% there, in these 5 metrics that go into a transaction. Guys, you are local, referral-based mortgage professionals. And if you do the same thing, and it's not hard, it's called use your CRM. It's called spend an hour at the end of every month and review your referral sources, your conversion rates. It's use the same technology they're using, a link to take an app, a link to give advice, mortgage coach total cost analysis. Go beyond the transaction, guys. By 2025, you could have this snowball mortgage practice where who cares if Amazon gets in the mortgage business and disrupts it, because you will have an amazing customer database. Like literally, if you do everything that was talked about on today's call and you do the planning and you document your goal, like Jeremy Forcier, you heard him read this 5-year compelling vision for himself. Guys, we're in the best business. I don't know a better business. I can, really for the first time, I'm like, I want my kids. I've always wanted to be in the mortgage business, but now I'm like, dude, I don't know any better business in the mortgage business. If you do these things. So I hope you guys got value. Todd, close it out for us, brother.
Anytime I get to spend time with you, Coach Bill, just sharpening, and I think you always add tremendous value to our community, right? Bill's a guy who gives, and I'm just super grateful for you and everything you did here today for the community and that you've done for me over all the years. Keith, yeah, no doubt crushed it today. That was awesome. And so I would just encourage you guys to take action, right? You're gonna need to listen to this again, right? You've got lots of free resources, right? Bill just sent you to the Building Champions page. Those are amazing tools, and they have guides to walk you through them, right? It's free. You don't need to pay a coach. You've got Bill's social coach, right? The links are down below. Absolutely check it out. You want to be better at social and you don't have ideas, and Bill's giving them to you. So that is definitely a great opportunity. And just continue to be part of this community. This community needs you. We are really blessed to have such a great group of you show up week in and week out. And it's been a pleasure for me. I get to normally just show up on Fridays, and with the business planning and what I've been doing with Win by Noon, it's just been a lot of fun to be part of the Tuesday business planning series as well. So thanks, Dave, for including me and allowing me to grow and sharpen the community along this journey as well.
All right, man, guys. Well, hey, Every day at Mortgage Coach, we do live training. So if you are not plugged into our calendar, if you don't have access to the Mortgage Coach advice engine, every day we're doing live training. Tuesday next week, I'm going to be interviewing Brett Gleason, former Navy SEAL. Embrace the Suck is his new book. I think it's coming out on that day. I think I'm literally interviewing on the day that a new book's coming out. But check that out. This Friday, we're going to do modern mortgage training. So that's going to be a theme really throughout the entire year of 2021. Training, like how can we train? Bill, I would love you to be more involved in that. So if you've got some ideas on
Count
what
me
we
in, buddy.
do a training, bring it. And Keith, dude, you brought it. You are one of the 12 top social media mortgage coaches. Help me figure out who the other 8 are. Remember, guys, comment down below. If you got value from this, give it a like, share it with your mortgage friends. This call is a wrap. Take care, everybody.